Hello, James here. Just a little preface. I'm currently bogged down in a lot of university coursework, and consequently I haven't had as much time as usual to edit the podcast. So the conversation for this episode was quite long form and free-flowing anyway, so I decided basically just leave most of it in. So this one's probably going to be quite a long one, and we hope you enjoy the slightly different format to usual.
Hello and welcome to What's Past This podcast. My name is Robert.
I'm Damian.
I'm Steve.
And I'm James, and today we're joined by our first guest. We've been saying we're going to have a guest for ages, but we actually have one now. It's Lyn Cuffin.
Hi.
Hello, Lyn. Thanks for joining us. Lyn is a member of the Ucheldre Repertory company and has also done various things with Hereafter Productions as well, and many other projects that I'm sure we'll talk about.
Indeed.
So, exciting stuff.
And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, why not like, comment and subscribe?
And if you're listening to us on any other platform, please hit that follow button.
So, in our first episode, we all talked about sort of how we got into acting and what our first experiences were with performing on stage. So it seems like a reasonable place to start to ask, how did you get into acting and what were some of your first experiences with performing on stage?
Yeah.
Acting has always been with me, really. Since a child, I used to write plays and involve my sister into dressing up and doing all sorts, really, especially when we had a babysitter. The babysitter used to work for their money, because I used to get her to watch us prancing around and being fairies and witches and all sorts. So it started like that. But in school, I was always quite shy. I'd be in a play, but it would be in the background, and then when I got to secondary school, I had kind of little bit parts in the school play, and then I went to help out backstage, doing some stage manager work when I was in school. And even when I left school, I used to help out with the school plays at our secondary school for a few years. And then one day I went to watch a play in the Ucheldre, and that's when my husband kind of pushed me towards joining. And so I wrote an email to Peter Preston and met him in the cafe in the Ucheldre, and then the following week I joined. And
So was that an Ucheldre rep play you saw in the Ucheldre at that time?
Yes.
Do you remember which one it was?
It was called Not Now, Darling.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Which I believe Stephen was
I was
in
indeed.
that
That was the first one I did with the Ucheldre rep group.
And it was absolutely fantastic. And then the next play they were going to do was Richard III.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. The legendary Richard III.
Richard III, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I did originally join to help out backstage. I was going to be kind of one of the background people as well. And then, because that play didn't happen, they put on another play called Baby Sparklers, and someone didn't turn up for one of the parts, and I basically was told, you've got to do it. And I did. So, my mum used to say that she used to try and get me on the stage because she knew I really wanted to, but now she can't get me off it. So that's happened.
I think we talked about Baby Sparklers at one point. Or Stephen was in that one, wasn't he?
Yes.
I wasn't in.
That's the one you won the award for, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yes,
That's the one I won the award
an
for.
award
Yeah.
for that. Yes.
Well done.
Yeah. And I think the show itself actually won a few awards as well, didn't it, Lyn?
It did. And it was a play that was written by a local playwright as well. So it was good.
Yeah.
We entered it into the drama festival, and there was another play that's by the same playwright that we entered into the drama festival as well, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Get
Steve.
Staffed.
And I played a smelly cleaner. Get Staffed. And I played a smelly cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just played the horny chef, basically.
He did. with no sense of smell.
Yeah. And nothing on under his chef's top.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But you did really.
And do you know how many rep plays you've done since then?
I've lost count. It's after that play. After that play was when I joined props for a bit and joined the cast of Twelfth Night for a tour of Twelfth Night.
Oh,
and
with
then,
Anvil. Props, yeah.
With Anvil, and then I worked with Loose Cannons for a while as well. They wanted one of their actors, female actor, she had left, and Alan Williams and Chris Holloway had asked me to join them just to put this play on a couple of times, and it turned out to be 11 times I did that in various different places around the UK. Yeah. And it was at the drama festival that we always used to have a group called the Kilmont Players, and they were an Irish group, and they came over every year. But one of their actresses had gone AWOL as well, and the only way they could do their play was if they could get somebody else to do it. So they asked me, and I said yes, and I packed a bag and I went to stay with some people I'd never met before in Ireland. Stayed for the weekend, rehearsed it twice and went to the pub. And then
sounds good to
me. The following weekend we put the play on. And that's when I won the award for that play as well. The play itself won, and I won an award for Best Actress when that won.
Oh, wow.
And the people I stayed with, I am now still in contact with, and we've been the best of friends since then. So it was a really good experience.
Yeah, that's proper Repertory company stuff, isn't it? That's play in a week.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, we've got 2 award-winning actors here anyway.
Well, actually, it was the drama festival as well that Alan Williams, he passed away a couple of years ago. He was a very close friend of mine, and he wrote plays specifically for Loose Cannons, and he wrote the play that I did with the Irish. It was called Mam, and it's a fantastic play. It's brilliant.
Oh, did he?
But
I didn't realise he'd written that one.
He also wrote a play written. It was for 4 women, and it was based during the First World War. And he wrote my part specifically for me, and for three others he wrote, and that won the Anglesey Drama Festival. And we went to the British finals in the Isle of Man with that one. So that was really good.
Nice.
I was just going to ask, out of everything that you've done, Lyn, whether that's with Loose Cannons or Anvil or the Rep or any other group, is there a play or a particular show that stands out to be your favourite? Or like, maybe not a play, just like a character that you've played that stands out?
The play that stands out for me, really, I've got 3 favourites, but the one that really stands out for me was last year we put on a play called Revlon Girl, and I played a character called Shan, and I think it's because of the topic of the play as well. Did you watch it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
For those that aren't familiar, could you kind of briefly describe the context of the play?
I can't remember the place it was. It's just gone out of my head. What was it?
Oh,
is it
sorry, I just went blank then. Sorry.
Aber somewhere.
Aberfan, yeah.
I had Merthyr Tydfil in my head.
It's the Aberfan disaster.
The play was about the Aberfan disaster, and it was about women meeting up and having a Revlon party, which was a makeup party, and it was about how it affected each woman separately, and it was quite raw in parts, and it was very emotional, and I felt quite privileged to play the part that I had. To be honest, I felt quite privileged, and it's a character that stayed with me for quite a while after I'd finished it.
I think that's the first show I've seen that you were in as well, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed the whole play.
Yeah, it was good.
It was
It was
brilliant.
very good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the best things I've seen at the Ucheldre. Just in fact, I enjoyed it so much that I think you only did 2 performances of it.
Mhm.
Maybe it was more, but it was. I think we came on the first night, and I tried to convince my family to come and see it the second night because I wanted to see it again, but they wouldn't bite, unfortunately. But, it was really good.
Yeah, it was a shame we only did it twice, and it was one of those where we didn't rehearse that many times. You know, we met in a community centre a handful of times, and we bonded quite well as a cast as well. And you don't get many plays. There's more now, but with a strong female cast, and there was no particular lead either.
No.
You know, everybody was in the same boat, and that's what I found really, really good. I tend to like plays where there isn't a lead as such. I like everyone to be
Equal.
Yeah.
I enjoy them a lot better.
Ensemble
yeah.
cast.
Yes.
I thought you were going to be travelling around with that one. Did that not happen?
No, well, a lot of things happened. We were trying to organise it, and then things happened to various different members of the cast. And then COVID happened, so, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think after all this is finished that we should persuade Mike to start doing the drama festival again in the Ucheldre Centre?
That's a good question.
Well, that was talk of doing that when Alan wanted to do it. That was in discussion, and but I'm not sure what happened. It was a long time ago, and no, it's certainly something I would like to bring back. I would, but there's a lot of organising to it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be just one person doing it. I think it should be
No, I agree.
a board
like a group,
or
like
something.
a little team or something.
I think we talked about
Group of
that
people.
a little while ago, didn't we? I think we talked about trying to make that happen. Something we should look into once this is, collectively, once this is all over.
Yeah.
That's certainly something I would be interested in, in sorting out. Yes, definitely.
So was it kind of like a kind of fringe thing where it's like hour long plays or something?
No,
Is that
it was
kind of the idea.
For no more than 40
That's
minutes and no less than 20. There's quite a few rules, and you've got to
Wasn't it setting up
set
and
up-
taking a set down as well was
setting up
included?
10 minutes
Yeah.
and taking down in 5. There's set rules.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got them somewhere where we could look, and I think it's the same for everybody.
Yeah.
But then you can take your play then and take it to somebody else's drama festival and see how well you do there. It was had a lot of fun with it. It's good. And I learnt a lot as well by watching other groups about how they do things and how they, so yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, sounds like great fun.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I learnt a lot from Alan as well. It was, he was a good person to talk to.
Yeah, I was supposed to be doing.
I miss him.
I was supposed to be doing a play with Alan, but set in a charity shop, but that didn't come to fruition. I can't remember why it didn't work.
That's a wonderful script. Yeah.
I've still got the script at home somewhere.
The other part that I really enjoyed playing was Angie from Abigail's Party.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
We had such a laugh with that play. It was great, and Mike was my husband.
He dyed his hair and everything.
Yeah, It was such a good play, and the highlight of it for me was Caroline was playing. She was dancing, and she picked up a cocktail stick with cheese on it. But it was the biggest one, and her mouth was so dry she was trying to get rid of it before her next line. And I was trying my best not to laugh.
The characters are Beverly, Lawrence, Tony, Angela, and Susan.
I played Angela, and I thought I looked a bit like Rose West in my glasses and my costume.
Ah, dear.
And who was Susan?
That was Donna.
Donna played Susan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, she was brilliant as Susan. Yeah, everyone seemed to, really fit their parts really well. It was good. It was really good.
I watched that over the summer, actually, the original TV version.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew of it, but I'd never seen it. I just thought it was very funny, but also really painful as well to watch, because it's so incredibly tense. It's a brilliant play.
It was.
Were you in Drinking Habits?
She was, yes.
Oh, I loved Drinking Habits.
I loved that one.
That just came
really
across my
good.
mind now. One of the things of Drinking Habits I do remember is Stephen flashing.
Oh. Just
Explain, Steve.
Just to give some context there, I didn't actually flash. In the play, my character, he reluctantly becomes sort of a little bit undercover and gets thrown into these different situations and has to dress up as different things. So firstly, he was dressed as a priest, then as a nun. And towards the end of the first half, he finds his girlfriend and tells her that it was him, and she didn't believe him. So he lifts the nun's habit up to show that it was him. That's what Damian meant by flashing.
Oh, okay.
That was the first rep play I ever saw. I thought it was a lot of fun. Very, very much remember really enjoying that.
So I take back what I said earlier about Revlon Girl being the first thing I saw you in. This is the first thing I saw you in.
Yeah.
Well, it's a first for a lot of things with that play, because it was my first play that I had some lines in as well.
Oh, there we go. Yes,
of course.
But there's the great big washing basket that I had to hide in that had to be brought onto the stage somehow, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved that. And can't remember if it was the first night or the second night that the door wouldn't close. Do you remember?
Yeah. I remember that. And then I think it was Brian that had to come back on and just say, like, I think you, Steve, and Katie was on the stage at the same time, and you were sort of pretending to sort of like, what's he doing here? And then he was like, "Don't mind me, you continue on. I'm just going to fix this door or something." He said.
And then just started kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking of broken doors, actually, do you remember? I don't know if you remember in Pinocchio. I think it was the last night of Pinocchio. It was the last ever Anvil Productions performance, and we had these doors, and it was the end of the opening number of the show, and I went through the door, and at the end of the song, it was the kind of and the door closes, and I slammed the door, and it got stuck.
Yeah.
I went round with a screwdriver.
And after some effort.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, Damian started, and then he had to go on stage, so I took over.
And you were pretty much just stood there, visible to the
right in the
audience,
audience.
unscrewing.
I was nicely behind the door, making sure that no one can see me. And I give Steve the screwdriver, and there he is, just walking on stage and unscrewing the door.
I didn't realise how visible I was, in all fairness.
The perfect end. I also saw you in Nightmare. Is that right? Was that the next one you did?
Nightmare. Oh, yes. I played the lady
Where
who ran
Robert
the shop.
was a mute.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered all my lines for that play. I didn't need a prompt at all. No,
I didn't have to
not
use
once.
the prompt once.
to give you some context, the character's a little bit like the Anne character from Little Britain. You know,
Except I didn't just randomly everywhere, so, you know.
And lick people's faces.
You should have done.
And at the moment, we're doing some. We're doing kind of radio plays, and you've done a few of those with us now, Lyn. But I believe you were in a production a few years ago called The Keeper that was done on Morn FM.
Yeah, that was wonderful. We got to spend the whole day in the studio recording.
What was that one about then, The Keeper?
It was another play that Alan Williams wrote. And I have a copy of it. I actually have a video of our experience recording it as well. I'll share that with you if you like someday. And a chap called Jake recorded our experience, and we watched it in the where we used to rehearse. And I think we had some mince pies and and a beer. Yeah. And
what was it about then?
It was about the South Stack Lighthouse being haunted.
Oh, right.
And there was two electrical engineers had gone there to fix the light because it had broken when there was a storm.
Yeah.
And they're stuck there for the night. And somehow two ladies are also stranded there, so they knock the door and frighten them by being there. So, and they're stuck there as well. So you've got 4 people stranded on South Stack Island, and then spooky things start to happen.
Ooh, sounds good.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Fun. Mm-hmm. One day here after Productions is we're gonna have a recording studio, and we're gonna just none of this recording with Audacity at home nonsense. We're going to have a studio and it's going to be brilliant. That's the plan.
As I was gonna say, so you've also directed a couple of things recently, haven't you? Which I think your first one was in the Rep, was it?
That came about because the resident director, Tom, he was poorly, so we were looking for something to do, and a whole load of ideas went flashing about, and as I have always got loads of plays and things, I suggested a couple of plays that we could do, small 2 1-acts. And I'm not quite sure how it came about that I was directing, but all of a sudden I took the play in and I came home, and it was somebody had suggested that I do it, so that's how that came about. Felt a bit like imposter syndrome when I first started, but turns out that I quite enjoy it. So
good.
Yeah, really did get into it.
Did you have a flair for directing before that?
Well, not as such, but I've always been, I suppose, even as a kid, I've always tried to rope my sister and my friends into doing something. So maybe I have got that.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Natural ability to get people to join in. Some people would call it bossy. I call it authority. Yeah. So I suppose what I didn't think, what I didn't realise is that how much I would enjoy it. So and I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I hope I did it well.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I was literally thrown in as the same as when I was thrown on the stage. I was thrown in at the deep end, and I really enjoyed it.
It's the best way, really.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think sometimes that's what you have to do to come out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Otherwise, you just overthink it. Don't you?
Just do it. I mean, it was the same with me for like my first actual speaking part that wasn't wrote in like a big part. I didn't say yes or no. I just actually, played that person. So I think it just takes that. So, but you did that play like it was your first play that you directed, and I think you did it really well. Audience enjoyed it. And you've you've directed other plays since then, so you've definitely got the skill there to be able to do that. Because I haven't directed anything myself, but I bet it takes a lot of work than just telling people where to go and what to do. So.
Yeah, you have to deal with a lot of things, and a lot of things I didn't realise is you have to deal with a lot of people's insecurities as well, because actors need a lot of reassurance, am I doing this, am I doing that? So you need to help people, and because we're on a small scale as well, you have to deal with things like costume and the stage, and, because we don't have as many, we're not at the Ucheldre, we haven't got everyone at hand to help out at a drop of a hat. It seems to all land on the director to maybe not do it, but to sort it out. So, it was a lot of work, but I really enjoyed it, and everyone was really helpful. And I loved the set for the 3 tables, the first play. It was really, really good. And I think everyone really enjoyed it.
Yep.
A funny thing happened in the dress rehearsal, which I think your family came to, Robert. Where,
they did, yeah.
Yeah, where the wrong track was played for Mike to play the piano at the beginning. And it was supposed to be a track that was played for 3 minutes. And it turned out to be an 11-minute track. You were on stage, weren't you, Robert?
Yeah.
With Beth.
Yeah, good.
And all I saw was Beth was really trying her hardest not to laugh, and in the end, Mike just abandoned it and walked off.
I mean, obviously, it's to start off with. You pretend to like it and you pretend to listen to it and etc. And then it came to a point where, like, okay, what else can I do to pretend that I'm enjoying this music?
It's great. Well, I was given 2 CDs, and it was is it you on Llewellyn Jones?
Oh, yeah.
And
I
was given 2 CDs, and it was track 3, and I gave the CD track 3, but they played the wrong CD, so it was track 3 of the other one.
Yeah.
Which wasn't as jolly as the one I'd chosen.
And then you directed our first panto as well, which
Yes.
was Aladdin. Just had to remember then.
You've forgotten, James.
That was
You couldn't remember.
a bit of another bit of a deep end experience, because pantos are, big operations.
Yeah, and I wasn't really given much time to think about it, because I'd gone to ask Mike about maybe doing some, I can't remember what I went to ask him, but I went to the Ucheldre, and Mike had asked me if I would consider, because you were going to ask me, and by the time I got downstairs, you were there, and you asked me. So no, it was good, and again thrown in up the deep end.
It was something you haven't done before as well, pantomimes, as in direct pantomimes.
Or been in one. I like
Blimey.
pantomime. No. The thing is, I always wanted to be part of the panto, but I could never get the time off work, because it's you perform for school children in school hours, and I could never get the time off. So it was really difficult for me. But I always wanted to, and I've always enjoyed them. And so yes, I was thrown in at the deep end. So I went home and researched a bit, watched a few pantos online, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, it was a weird one for me, because that was the first time I've written a script as well, for a panto. So it was a kind of weird. It felt a bit weird as well that I was kind of giving control to someone else when I made sure I kind of wrote in as much stage directions, because I thought, as the writer, I can't say, oh, I want it to be like this, but I can if I write in tons of stage directions. So I just thought, okay, I'm just going to give as much detail as I think is necessary, and then hand it over. But that was a kind of a strange thing for us, because we hadn't done a panto with with someone else other than Anne directing. So it was
No,
new ground for everyone, really. But
it was. And it was difficult because not everyone was available at the same time.
Yeah, that's
So you
true.
had to go over bits and bobs all the time. So it was, it was difficult.
Some people are always in bloody Sheffield. Oh, I swore then, sorry. Some people are always in Sheffield.
yeah. But I think Aladdin went down well in the end. Yeah, we had
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
sort of production issues as well that we couldn't. That it's like we had to replace a couple of cast members and various kind of unforeseen things that we had problems with. But I think we got through it. And I think it was pretty successful. In the end.
Well, I had to leave you in a lurch as well because I had death in the family as well. So and my friend passed away. So it was
awful.
it was an awful year.
It was.
But we all tried hard anyway to keep what you had in mind as well.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Everything about it was brilliant. I liked the script. I liked the songs. I liked the acting, and it didn't matter how many people were in the audience. It was brilliant each time. I loved it. I was really proud of it. Well done.
Thank you. We did. I think we did manage. We had a few because I think after a few years you kind of start to recognise the patterns of when people will come and which shows will be the quiet ones and which ones will be the good ones. And always the last one before Christmas is always a big show. But we had a couple of extra ones that were big shows that we hadn't expected as well, which was nice. That the show's sold out today. Oh, really? Okay, we only expected 40 people in or something. And yeah.
But sometimes with a smaller audience, if you've got really loud children, it doesn't matter.
No,
does
it doesn't.
It's
No.
That's true.
It's the show, and
Very true.
One of the best ones was when some of my friends came along and were very vocal in the audience and laughed a lot, and
One of the funny things that happened with the panto was Mike played the what was his character's name? Abanazar. And he said on a couple of occasions once he was in a cafe and another time he was in a charity shop.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of kids said boo as he came in. He thought it was great.
Yeah, a few of the Hereafter members back when they were part of Anvil, because I think it was Angharad actually who went into a shop and people going, "It's a fairy." Any pantomime actors get recognised anywhere they go. It's weird.
Yeah.
Some people still saw me as Cowardly Lion, even though I was in full makeup and weird costume.
There's one person who still sees me as the Sheriff of Nottingham when we did Robin Hood. Every time she sees me, goes, "All right, Sheriff."
Dum in your mouth?
No. That did not happen, ever.
I remember Angharad saying she got recognised for a role that she played 3 years ago or something, or 3 or 4 years ago. Someone said, it's what was her character in Peter Pan?
Tiger Lily?
Tiger Lily, yeah. Someone went, look, it's Tiger Lily. It's that was 3-4 years ago or something. It's funny.
Yeah.
More than that, I think.
I've never been recognised for being on stage as such, but a lot of people think that I work at the Ucheldre because I'm there so often.
Yeah, I've had that as well. There's been a couple of times I've just been happened to be in the Ucheldre, and some old woman thought I was a member of staff. I said, "Can you go get me a couple of chairs, please?" I'm like, "Okay."
I bet you just did it.
Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you help me with this? Right. Okay.
You should have said, "Yeah, I'll get that," and then just leave her for hours without anything. And then she'll complain to one of the staff. She'll complain to another member of staff who might be around, and going, that small guy with a beard, he's not doing what I want him to do. He doesn't work here." Oh,
Really think somebody would describe me like that, do you?
well, I would.
I was just counting. I've been in 12 rep plays.
Brilliant.
And I joined in 2010.
Not just that though, Lyn. You've also been in a film.
Nice segue.
Yes.
The film was called Method, and it was written, directed and produced by a very close friend of mine and Steve's, called Brian Davis.
Yep.
It's quite sad. Unfortunately, Brian passed away last year. And we were...
No, the year before.
It was the year before, sorry. And it was released the day after my wedding day on the 12th of November, 2011. And we really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it, Steve?
It was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, learned quite a lot. And we were about to embark on a new film. It was called My Dead Wife.
Yep.
And Brian had asked me to co-direct and help him write it as well. And he was going to teach me how to use the camera and edit. And he was going to show me all of that, but unfortunately he's passed away. So I was going to say, sorry, I've lost it a bit. Done.
It's okay.
Anyway, this Christmas, my husband surprised me with a camera, and I've since had a tripod, so I'm going to start filming and maybe having a bit of a play and a messing around with that. Maybe I'll be asking Robert for a bit of help.
Yeah, sure.
As well. So hopefully we'll be getting into that soon.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about
that'd be cool.
starting to make short films as well, haven't we? It's something we're kind of
we're
talking about recently, trying to start doing that.
Yeah, and even with the homicidal film that we'll do eventually, when we're filming the scenes like on locations, your camera, Lyn, might be helpful to get like a different angle. And you can definitely come along and see like how they're filmed, and if you want.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've been looking forward to that because I love the idea of doing music for a film, doing sound and everything. So I'm kind of excited to learn how to do that.
Hopefully, once we're out of lockdown, hopefully we'll be allowed to sort of meet up and outside or wherever, to sort of read through the script and sort of try to make arrangements depending on the guidelines and stuff at the time, but try to make arrangements that we can sort of film sort of outside scenes first or something. So
or even just to practice, read
or
through
even just
or
to practice,
and film it. Meet in
good.
the amphitheatre or something like that. And it would be good. Yeah.
And talking of editing and filming, we recently did a series of online plays called Zoom. I wondered if you wanted to talk a bit about that, because that was your kind of project that you took hold of.
Well, that's something else that I was thrown into. I've got, I don't know how many scripts I've got, but I love reading scripts, and I often thought it would be nice to set up a script club, a bit like a book club, but where people would meet and just read through a script, and not necessarily put the play on, but just to read through them, because it's, when you read through them, it brings it alive, and because of recent events, I had an idea to maybe start doing it online. And it turned out to be a really good idea. So Script Club was formed, and the idea behind it is that we meet once a week, and if you want to come along one week, you can. If you want to give it a miss, it's fine. I wanted it to be really flexible, that people didn't have to commit to. But one thing I thought was, what if we come across something that, is a good play? And then it happened. We came across these wonderful scripts called Zoom, a play for lockdown. And there was 2 available at the time. And the third one was in recording by the company that had written them. And we read through them, didn't we, James?
Yeah.
And then
We did.
we decided to put them on and record it via Zoom. And we had to get a few more people involved. I involved a work friend of mine who mentioned in passing that she'd like to do a bit of drama. Involved my husband, and I asked the rep if they wanted to join in, and that's how it happened. What I didn't think about really was the time limits we had. I think we gave ourselves about 8 weeks to record 4 plays, so it was a bit tight. I also didn't predict how complicated editing can be, and I spent hours sorting that out, but it turns out that's something else that I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, with the editing, like even if you're doing like a trailer for something, a play or film, whatever, and the trailer's only like 2 minutes long, it can take you a few hours just to do that because of all the like nitbits that you have to do, and to get everything looking right, it does take some time to do. And but yeah, if the viewers want to check out the Zooms for Lockdown, a card will pop out right now on the right corner of the YouTube version of this podcast, and a link will be in the description if you guys want to check it out. It's worth a watch, so I suggest that you do.
There's 3 plays and a Christmas special, so there's 4 in total. And I've been, we recently invited the writers to come and speak to us because we had like a Zoom after party really last week. And we invited the writers to come, and they chatted to us for about 15 minutes, and that was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really nice.
It was.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask about the editing actually was whether it got easier to edit as we went on and as we got a bit slicker with the performances.
Yeah, I think the first play is a bit ropey because of my editing, and also the plays were written to be filmed in one sitting, and we didn't quite do it like that. But the original cast, they went over it until they got it right for each scene, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We didn't have time on our side to do that.
I remember talking to Stephen. I remember talking to Stephen and James about that before. I told them that normally plays like this, any scripts like this, would have each screen, each actor being recorded separately throughout one whole sitting, like you were explaining then. And then James said to me then as well, all the sound and video would be done in post, which obviously that's not the kind of
the difference
thing
is
any of us are able to do. But
I mean, if this was being made for TV, I guess that's how they do it.
Oh, yeah,
but also
that's
these are written as
what I
plays
mean.
rather than TV shows. So
yeah. James has hit the nail on the head of what I meant, basically.
Stop giving him credit.
He has hit the nail on the head, though.
But the first play, I didn't really have a clue what I was doing, so I was literally learning on the spot.
Best way to do it, really.
I enjoyed it.
Best way to do it, learn on the spot.
That's something else that I've picked up.
Yep.
It's also the editing with that software as well, because it's the same one that I have, Damian has as well, VSDC, and it's a free software, and it's quite limited in many ways. So I can't imagine the hell you must have gone through to have to edit with that software.
Yeah, I'm quite determined. Once I get something in my head, it will work. And I'll sit here until it does.
That's the same mindset I had when I used the software to edit these episodes on video. So,
yes,
but nothing ever works out right, and things that start breaking. So then I break it even more and it starts working.
Oh, okay.
That's how I do it. I break it and it works again.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I found myself going over the same bit over and over and over, and my husband was saying, "Why are you doing that? Why can't you put your headphones in? Why do we have to listen to that same line over and over?"
Sometimes listening to it through speakers is a better way of doing it than on the earphones.
Absolutely.
It's more of a preference in certain clips.
Okay.
I tend to do that quite a lot myself when I was editing the podcast videos, trying to get the certain timings right from what James given me, and trying to get all the fade in and fade outs. Sometimes I listen to it with headphones on. Sometimes I do it off, but pull my speakers on high, just so I can see if it works.
And also to annoy his neighbours upstairs.
Well, yes, that too.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it or not, if James has already edited it out by the time you'll hear this, but the washing machine has been going off several times throughout this episode.
Yes, my ears are hurting a bit.
Mine are very achy right now.
That's what noise gates were made for.
At least they're putting it on reasonable time and not 10 o'clock at night like they usually do, I think.
Yeah,
I think you said.
But you can pretty much assure if you ever talk to someone, even if it's on a phone, or if I talk to anyone at all, you can be rest assured within 10 minutes, right on cue, washing machine.
Oh, right. I see.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we started here after Purchase last year. We started doing some audio plays, and we asked Lyn to be in what was it? The game that we did from Just Shorts.
Oh,
to
yes.
replace someone who wasn't available from the original cast.
Yeah.
And then we also asked you to play the fairy godmother in Cinderella as well.
Yep.
Which was also the audio one.
How did you find the experience of...
I find everything new and exciting. I get quite excited about things. I love doing anything to do with acting and drama and things like that. But I did find it odd how it's recorded. That it's not recorded in one swoop, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
I did find that hard to process in my brain for a bit. But
you got used to it.
Yeah. I got used to it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
But you're hearing now, folks, that this is one of our ways to be within the COVID guidelines.
Yes.
That everyone's in their own homes recording their lines.
Yes.
But not only that, it's
or within their own social bubbles.
The fact that we don't record everyone at the same time, we record people because we started doing this because we only had like 2 microphones between us. So I would lend my microphone to someone, they'd record with it, and we'd just do their lines and some reading in on Zoom. And now we have microphones for everyone pretty much. And I think we're probably still going to do it the same way, because actually what I found is that people are less awkward if there's a line they're struggling with and they want to repeat it, or they want to do it again to get it right.
Yeah.
They feel a lot more comfortable if it's just one other person than if it's a screen full of people staring at them, waiting for them to get the line right. So, and it, and then just I have to piece it together line by line, but it means I can get all the timings right of everything, like be really nitpicky with it. So it's a funny way of working, but
again, it was just something that's new, so I got used to it in the end. So,
and you're doing hopefully a new series with us this year that I think we talked about a little bit in the last episode.
We did a little piece from it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did a little snippet. Detective series.
That's the word. A Susan. A Susan.
Insignificant Susan. Inside jokes.
But I'm looking forward to that, and I'm still writing the first script, but I think we're going to have fun with that, hopefully.
I can't wait to do it, to be honest with you, James. I'm ever so excited about it. It's been...
Well, because you like your murder mysteries, don't you? So it's kind of up your street, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's so wonderful about doing something like this and Script Club and the radio plays, is because we're all so passionate about acting and doing things. We've still managed to find a way to do it, and that's what I find fascinating and wonderful about it. It's really good, and it's good for our mental health as well, I suppose.
Sure.
Keep us going, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just going to ask, do we have like a time scale of when you hope to start on those?
Not as such.
When he's finished writing it?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've got the plan for the first series. About half of the first episode's been written. I'm focusing for the next couple of weeks on getting my uni work done for the semester, but I think after that will be
fair enough.
once the script's done, we'll have a read through and have a few rehearsals and then kind of get cracking with the recording. I think I'd like to get the series done by the end of the year, if possible. But yeah, it's I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to involve everyone in Hereafter and probably a whole load of more people as well. A little bit like with Zoom, we're just going to be bringing people in, and
Yeah.
That's the other thing about Script Club, and we found a lot of people who are interested in acting that we didn't really know about as well. So it's you've got quite a strong pool of people to choose from, really, if you wanted to do it.
And actually, I made a list recently of people that we could ask to be in these things over the course of a series, and I kind of wrote people from Script Club down as could ask that person, and
and the Ucheldre rep as well, if they
absolutely.
Yeah.
So and I think it opens up more possibilities for the future as well, with stage productions potentially as well. A lot of people out there, and
yeah.
I think we really need to put Shakespeare on soon. When we can, definitely. Maybe collectively as a group. That's something that we need to think about.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be good.
One last thing I wanted to talk about very briefly actually was I thought I'd mention it on this episode because I thought it'd be something that Lyn would like as well, which is this radio series that I've been listening to. I came across it in the summer last year, and I listened to parts of it, and they've released more of it now, and I've been listening to it over the last few days. It's this sort of similar to what we're doing a little bit. It's a kind of murder mystery comedy show set in the 1930s in the southwest of England, and it's called The Poggleywood Murders. And it's online, and you can listen to it for free online. And it's got that kind of murder mystery. The characters have pun names and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So that's something I wanted to recommend, and probably put the link to that in the video.
Cool.
So
have a look at that. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I've made a note of
Yeah,
it.
it's spelled Poggleywood Murders. Pogley is spelled Pogley. Poggleywood Murders.
Okay.
Definitely.
How do you spell wood again?
WOOD space MURDEIS. Full stop.
Full stop.
And the full stop has to be there, right?
Yeah, otherwise it doesn't come up.
I think
it takes you to dodgy websites if you don't put the full stop in. So. Okay, so this week the quizzing duties befalls me. So I'm going to do some Shakespeare questions. So I'm going to read quotes from 5 Shakespeare plays, and you have to guess which play each of these quotes is from. Okay, so question 1 is, you speak an infinite deal of nothing.
Is that just somebody speaking to you, James?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's me talking on the podcast.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Question 2. The fault is not in our stars, but in ourselves.
Well, it's from that good film, The Fault in Our Stars, isn't it?
No, the fault is not in our stars. That's the point. Question 3 is, no beast so fierce, but knows some touch of pity, but I know none, and therefore am no beast. Okay, question 4 is, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. And that's from a particular favourite of mine.
Does that narrow it down, Damian?
No, because James is favourite. James would say that everything's his favourite. Oh, Macbeth's my favourite. Oh, Hamlet's my favourite. Romeo and Juliet's my favourite. I especially like Romeo and Juliet, but Tempest is my favourite.
And finally, question 5. Methought I was enamoured of an ass.
Oh,
We know that one. Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, now for the answers. So question 1 was, ye speak an infinite deal of nothing, and that was from The Merchant of Venice.
well, that was a great start. I have nil point.
I have no points.
Question 2, the fault is not in our stars but in ourselves. That one's from Julius Caesar, which is a particular favourite of mine.
Everyone's a particular favourite of
Yes.
Question 3 was, no beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity, but I know none and therefore am no beast. That was from Richard III.
It
Which
was
is a particular
familiar.
favourite of his.
It was familiar, but I couldn't remember where I heard it. I got the wrong one.
Question 4 was, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. Was from Richard II.
Oh,
Which is a particular favourite of mine.
I was one number out.
You can have half a point.
Did you say that was another favourite?
You can have half
Did
a
you say
point,
that
see.
was another favourite,
Yeah.
James?
Yeah, I like Richard II. And finally, question 5. Methought I was enamoured of an ass was from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
All right, then. So let's tally the points then.
I have 2.
I have 1.
I have 1.5.
Robert?
Rob.
Just a 1 on that as well.
So me and you are the big losers.
Well, Damian and Robert,
Hey,
you are today's
I
big
never
losers.
expect them to win them.
And Lyn is today's big winner.
I remembered the Richard III one, and the last one, Midsummer
Yeah.
Night's Dream.
Yeah, I remember the last one.
And before we leave you, here's another short preview from the upcoming Adventures of Willie and Wendy series. This scene is when Willie and Wendy are in the car on their way to their first ever detective job.
And that was the first time I ever had a pork casserole.
That's a fascinating story, Willie, but don't you think you should tell me about the case? I may be psychic, but I'm no mind reader.
Oh, yes, of course, silly me. Mr. Bathurst booked us into a posh hotel not far from here. He said his detectives usually stay in the cheapest B&Bs he can find, so we're not to get too used to the luxury.
Oh, so that's why Mr. Bathurst told us to dress up smart. I must say, you look terribly dashing, like an action hero.
I don't really watch action films, if I'm honest.
Don't like them?
Mother doesn't like me watching them. She's a bit set in her ways, you see.
I see. I don't really like them either, to tell you the truth. I'm more of a chick flick kind of girl. I'm a sucker for a weepy love story, me. What kind of things do you watch, then?
Oh, documentaries mainly.
Oh, right.
Your mother's got this fascination with fishing trawlers, you see. Anything involving boats, the Atlantic Ocean, jowly men in waterproof overalls, she's there for it. That and Fred Astaire films. She's got a real flair for Fred Astaire, does Mother. You wouldn't look out of place in one of those films.
Oh, do you think so? I got this outfit for a fancy dress party a few years ago. Only it turned out it wasn't a fancy dress party after all. I felt like a right muppet.
Nightmare! Did you have a bit of a flap then when you found out?
Oh, of course. I was dressed as a flapper. Honestly, you're so funny, Willie.
Oh, thank you very much. Mother never laughs at my jokes. But then again, she never was one for a sense of humour, even when Dad was still alive. You know, I've not stayed in a hotel since I was 10 for Uncle Terry's wedding.
I've never stayed in one. I'm pretty excited to tell you the truth. Do you know, is it some kind of special treat to celebrate our first job?
Not exactly, Wendy. It's the hotel we're investigating.
Oh, I see. What kind of thing are we looking for?
I don't know anything specific. Mr. Bathurst just said we're to keep our ears peeled and our eyes to the ground.
What for?
For suspicious activity.
Oh, how exciting.
Oh, and another thing. Our employers had a tip-off that something is going to happen at 3 o'clock tonight.
Lovely. Thanks for that. I like that voice, Steve.
You seem to like when I said nightmare. I noticed your reaction when I said nightmare.
That's great. That's the kind of voice I'm imagining.
You can come back now.
Yeah, cracking.
Oh, I'm so excited to do it, you know.
Yeah, it's fun.
James. Thank you.
I quite like the opening, but I quite like it when it gets into the plot. It's quite, it's a kind of a farce, and it's all these interweaving things, and I'm enjoying writing it. So I'm looking forward to this first read through and everything. It'll be fun.
Bing bong.
So in the last episode, we ended the episode with that sound that you've just heard. It's a very interesting sound, very well-made sound. It's not what I was expecting, but I like it. And that sound signals the end to this episode. And thank you to Lyn for being our very first guest on this podcast.
And thank you for asking me. I've enjoyed it.
And if you guys enjoy, then you know the usual stuff. Like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below telling us what you think.
This podcast is now available on most streaming platforms, including Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, and iTunes.
And don't forget to check the links in the description for our other channels and websites. And on that note, it's goodbye from our guest, Lyn Cuffin.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
And to play us out, here's a song that features in that first radio play we did with Lyn, the game. The song's called The Bird Calls, and it was written for the original stage production. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you for listening. It's been a long episode this time. Hope you've enjoyed it. Goodbye from me.
In the twilight hour, the bird calls from on high. He sings his song of love to an empty sky. The velvet wind caresses his wings as he searches for his love and the hope she brings. Will he find her bathing in moonlight in the treetops all alone? Or will he find her drinking from the river, or hiding amongst the stones? Or will he find her over the rainbow, where the carefree forever roam? Or will he find her waiting with patient grace for her true love to come home. When all hope seemed lost, the morning frost, it chilled his fragile bones. When he heard a sound from homeward bound, a familiar hopeful tone. So he beat his wings and tried his best, despite how far he'd flown. And happiness, it filled his chest in ways he'd never known. Now at last his weary heart can rest. Now he'll never be alone. When he found her waiting in the humble nest that the bird calls home.